Good morning. It's always a pleasure to come back to the shrine to see some familiar faces and to tell you just how old I am. When I was director here at the shrine, it was not only the last century, it was in the last millennium. The topic assigned for today, the priesthood of Christ and the church, is quite timely. I say that not only because of what is going on in Philadelphia at this time, but because generally it is around this time of the year when dioceses and religious communities ordain their new priests. So today, in speaking about priesthood, I would like to comment on this question. What should the church, that is you, the people of God, expect from those who have answered the call to serve the church as priests? Many answers come to mind when thinking of this question. Some might say, I expect priests to deliver well-prepared, meaningful homilies. That's a fair enough expectation. Others might suggest that priests be more available to them in times of need. At this time in our history, with a reduction in the United States in the number of active priests, some people have had difficulty finding a priest available to officiate at a wedding or to celebrate the funeral mass of a relative. This experience has happened to me personally when, due to a prior commitment, I have had to say, and it hurt at the time, I'm sorry. I know you are having a difficult time finding a priest to say your mother's funeral mass, but I am simply unable to be at two places at the same time. The shortage of priests in the church is very real, and we who are priests feel very much the shortage. Some of our priests give very generously of their time, and some perhaps too generously. I recall the story I heard about our missionaries in China many years ago. Our Bishop O'Shea had to deal with those priests who tried to do too much, sometimes to the detriment of their health. And Bishop O'Shea said to them, I appreciate how hard you work, but remember, a dead missionary cannot provide sacramental ministry. And so I say, good homilies, availability, these are fair and commendable expectations of priests. Today, however, inspired by our new Holy Father, Pope Francis, I would like to present what I think might well be the most important expectation you should have of priests, whether they are newly ordained or celebrating their golden anniversaries. I think it would be most important for us to expect our priests to reflect joy in their lives. When I say this, please understand, I am not speaking of a silly, loud-laughing, backslapping kind of priest, although levity in our priesthood does help now and then. Father Martin, a Jesuit priest, commented on levity in the priesthood in his recent book entitled Between Heaven and Mirth. He tells about a young seminarian who got a laughing fit at Mass. A pious and serious seminarian who wanted to observe all the rules as a Jesuit went to his superiors and confessed, "I am guilty of excessive levity at Mass." The superior to whom he confessed was not known for his joviality, and he said, "All levity is excessive." Well, I'm not sure that with the burdens that people carry today, that we need a gloomy Gus like that in the priesthood. But my reference today is not to levity. I am speaking of the joy that flows from sharing in strong, healthy relationships. Specifically, my point is this: if we find a priest profoundly and peacefully joyful, then most likely we can presume that this priest has a deep, sustaining, personal relationship with the risen Lord. What greater way could a priest serve the church than to be an uplifting witness to prayer in his life? When we are burdened, all of us, we look to the priest to lift that burden, not a priest who will drag us deeper into discouragement. A priest who is joyful when he is celebrating the sacraments, when he is visiting the sick, is doing exactly what he should be doing in the church. He is radiating in those activities his personal relationship to the risen Lord. His inner life and his service life all tie in to his personal, intimate friendship with Jesus Christ. That priest will work at delivering homilies to the best of his ability. That priest will be as available as he can when multiple demands are made on him. That priest will keep a balance in his life. Joy that flows from his faith is the most important witness a priest can give to today's church. His joy emanating from his faith will invite people to have confidence in him and confidence in the Lord. You know, in our shrine here in Germantown, we honor one who knew joy in her life. Recall how the angel Gabriel addressed Mary. He said, "Mary, rejoice, O highly favored daughter. The Lord is with you." Why did he call Mary to rejoice? Simply because the Lord is with you. Living in God's presence led her to a deep joy in her life. And so the priest, who cultivates a strong sense of the Lord's presence in his life, will rejoice. His joy is the sign that the Lord is with him. What a great servant of the church that joyful priest will be.